welcome to the next installment of the Dismount Podcast. And today we are discussing episode 52, Gifts. How do I give and receive openly? So today is, if you're new here, this is a deep, vulnerable dive. The group gets together. We come up with 6 questions, all based around the topic of the day. Topic of the day is gifts. We're talking, this is going to release right around Christmas time, so it's only fitting that we do the gifts to ride out here. So that outline is 6 questions, like we said. Question number 1, when you give, whether time, energy, or material things, are you doing it from fullness or from fear of not being enough? What's your thoughts, Steve?
So whenever I give gifts, I give different types of gifts based on relationships. Like if I was to give you guys a gift, it's probably going to be honestly like food. I ain't going to buy you like, oh, here's this thing that you might just like throw away like 5 years from now. I'll be like, here, if I'm going to give a gift, I think Tit's one of the best of that. It was like, here, we'll get you some tickets to this concert. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's my kind of gift. So I think it really depends on like the relationship. Like between us, I would consider the best gifts between us is like food, drinks,
Dude,
experiences.
Brandon nailed a gift recently. This guy, telling you, if you want to know about Brandon's character, this is what you need to know. Brandon watched my cat, specifically told me not to give him anything for it, which, whatever, I'll get him back. It's fine. We'll talk about that later too, actually. But he watched my cat. I come back. I have a note on my refrigerator. It says, something in the fridge for you. And Titty's handwriting. I'm like, what is this, dude? I already know what it is. Open out the foil, 3 slices buffalo chicken pizza from Frank's.
To be fair, 3 small slices. I can't.
And I crushed them all immediately. So I gave Doe 1, had 2 from me. I'm like, this guy had the audacity to watch my cat and give me something while he was there.
Food, man. I ain't going to leave you some other shit. You'd be like, I ain't going to use this shit. But food, boom.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Giving gifts and doing it, like, for me, it's more so of having that glass feel like it's overfull. And being able to, like, when we're going from, like, whether it's time, energy, or material things, like, I'm all about, like, the energy that goes behind the gift, kind of like you were saying. So I don't want to give something that I feel like is just going to be tossed out. I want to give something that I feel like is bettering a process or, like you were saying, an experience or something, for sure.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I actually had some thoughts on that of, like, in a world where it never feels like you're giving enough or you are enough, you have to be mindful of not pouring from like a half empty glass into a bottomless bucket too. So you don't want to keep giving when like you feel like you're overextending yourself too. Like you say, you keep giving gifts to people in the sense of like your time or your energy or whatever, and that person isn't reciprocating, or you don't know like what you're even supposed to be getting out of this. Like that can feel really detrimental to yourself after a long time. So I think, like, as far as I'm concerned, it used to be out of fear, I believe, in the sense of like, I want somebody to see that I care about them. Am I doing enough to show? And that makes me think of like maybe if you guys like grown up with, and I'm trying to think if I actually had people like this in my life, but more or less like your parent who works 80 hours a week and they're so focused on their job and they go out to dinner with their friends, and instead of time with their kids, they just give them everything they could possibly want in hopes that that's enough, as opposed to just spending more time and actually raising the kids properly.
That's a hard one, because that plays such an emotional like tie into it. That's where I would say, like, for me, this was such an interesting question, because I have had a fear of not being enough for myself or to go after those dreams of my own. So when we sat here and we threw out like, are you doing it from fullness or are you doing it from a fear of not being enough? I'm like, well, shit, I never really thought about like this fear of not being enough. The gifts that I'm giving. Oh shit. Now I'm playing this like, am I giving enough? Do I have enough to give? And that's where I really thought that like everything that I was doing was coming from a place of abundance, of like having more than enough for myself to be able to shed that, weight all around. But that fear of not being enough, and now you're balancing, like, did I give enough to be able to receive this much? Oh shit. Now what kind of toll am I putting on? Like, do you remember when we talked, it was ages ago on this episode, on this podcast, where he talked about the emotional baggage that you just start stuffing into the backpack.
Yeah.
And like, this is one for me where like I start putting like worksheet after worksheet into my, you know, school backpack of just, I owe you something for this.
The scoreboard.
The scoreboard.
Yeah, the unspoken scoreboard is like, all right, it's like 23-1 right now, dude. I think I'm done. I am done on this end. You owe me way too much. There's time's running out on the clock, and you haven't showed enough at this point for me to continue. But
well, like, how do you battle with something like this guy who watches your cat and drops off pizza in your fridge?
So,
I
Brandon,
already repaid him for him giving me one last bite. Inside joke. You might know. We listened to One Last Breath while I ate the last of our childhood Frank's pizza.
one last bite.
And he had like 2 pieces left. You can't replace this. So for me, on that note, Tit gave me almost an irreplaceable debt. He gave me like 1 to 2 of his last slices of pizza of a business that would never exist again.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is like a crumb and, you know, on a plate compared to what Tit gave me.
Yeah. So, Brandon, when you're giving on your side, as far as like abundance and fear goes, I always felt like you're someone who gives from abundance. Like, I don't think you ever try to show your love through like giving. You more or less do that already. I feel like you've always given from abundance. Is that about right?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I consider myself very blessed in my family and support system. And you guys have just, aside from the wedding, you guys have seen it in the baby shower. Like, I'm like, you know, I'm blessed. I'm going to use this word spoiled. You know, I try to keep myself in check as far as these things. Like, I'm blessed with love is what I mean. Not like, you know, my parents have an endless bank account. No, I'm blessed with love, and I try to give that back into my circles.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm always giving from that sense. And then, like, for me, my most valuable generosity is my time and attention.
Yeah.
Because, like, my attention even more so. Like, I could give my time to anybody and just be sitting there on my phone, but like my attention is limited. So if you have my time and attention, you really are getting the most valuable asset I have. So for me, for giving, I'm like, I get so much love. I want to give back to other people.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I think like giving feels good too.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it, but like you're also, I think the giver's getting just as much enjoyment out of it as the receiver would, just because when I was a kid and you'd go to like grade school, we used to have like the little Christmas workshop where you could buy little gifts, and I was horrible. Like, I wouldn't even wait till Christmas. I'd come home to be like December 14th. I'm like, all right, Dad, I got this for you for Christmas. He's like, okay, put it on the tree. I'm like, no, open it now. I want you to open it right now. I want you to be happy now. And that's a child, but it's like the people pleasing side of, I try to, you know, you want to maneuver a holiday correctly or whatever it might be, but I think there's something understated about how good it feels to give, and also the right gift to the right person too.
Well, when you say that, I think of instantaneously, if it does feel that good, because have you not experienced once or twice before, you're giving a gift to somebody, and mostly from my experience, it's giving a gift to like a little kid in your life, and you're just like so jazzed to hook them up with this, and they're like, wow, thank you, and then they set it off to the side, and you're just like, you got the thank you got the gratitude, the appreciation for it, but it was just like, I thought you would have been so much more jazzed up than this right now. And you sit there and you're like, this isn't upsetting me, but like, I kind of actually do feel emotions right now.
Yeah.
towards this.
Yeah. And I'm not going to tell you to set boundaries with your 10-year-old niece right now. But what I am going to say is that might correlate over to like your work or whatever and your job. Like, unfortunately, it feels like your workplace doesn't really care why you're giving. It's just that you are giving. So if it's not, there's no correlation between your why and what you're doing, then you have to kind of take that inventory check on yourself, as opposed to hoping that your manager is worried about the emotional output as much as the output that comes through every day in your work.
Well, it's where like the gifts that you're giving at work of your time and your energy, there's so much at play to where it's so easy to just look at things in the wrong light and think that like no one is taking any appreciation for what you're doing. But then at the same token, whenever you don't get those reciprocated things that you might think of, whether that's a raise, whether that's, you know, more time off, more vacation time whenever you're going through, and you're going, no one noticed anything I did here. This place sucks.
Yeah.
Planet bullshit.
On the galaxy of this sucks camel dick. TM Step Brothers. I feel that same way about, man, the place I work for and like the landlord / client that we have. When it came to last year's Christmas, I had been used to all the companies prior, and I had been comparing it to, okay, are they going to give me a card? I don't give a shit if there's anything in it. I just want to know if you guys are going to show me, hey, we appreciate what you're doing. One person did come through with some candy, and I guilted myself over not giving anyone any kind of gifts and stuff like that. I'm like, least you could just like give little pieces of chocolate to people. But the person eventually, I did find out, one of the people in charge, they did go around and give chocolate to my co-manager. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I'm like, I'm glad somebody recognized it. And like, Christmas, this is that time of acknowledgement, just showing the people who are important in your life. Granted, I don't know if we've ever given each other gifts for Christmas, but we're kind of guys and we don't really do that shit. But like, as far as an organization, I'm like,
It's a word for that.
as far as an organization, I was like, damn, man, like this, it's meaningless what the gift is. It's just if you guys had like a sheet of paper, I don't know, $5 gift card, I don't know, any of that stuff. It just shows, hey, you're an important person and we appreciate that you're here. And I'm like, damn, that's all it took, guys. Come on, give me something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it steps into gratitude, and that's the follow-up episode here, so it's cool that people are going to be able to listen to this and another, but it's also funny to see the spectrum of receiving gifts, and, like, you go from, if it's nothing, and then you just get a piece of chocolate, you're like, fuck yeah, dude, chocolate. But, like, if you're like, my raise, or my Christmas bonus was $200, and now it's a $200, Chuck E. Cheese gift card or whatever, then you're like, dude, come on, I just want, like, cash. I want to go buy my own pizza. I don't want Chuck E. Cheese or whatever it is, so it's funny to see the levels of gratitude based off what you may be expected in the past and what you are getting now.
Yeah. So question number 2, have you ever struggled to receive something, a compliment, help, or a gift? And what did that moment teach you about yourself?
Yeah, I just feel like, someone once told me, refusing the gift is worse than just taking it, and I had been pretty bad about that. So like someone gives you something and you don't feel worthy or whatever, and you're like, oh no, I'm good. No, you shouldn't have, or whatever. Like those were the worst too. Though you shouldn't have, or oh man, no, it's okay, really, it's fine, and like that immediately is kind of an insult, unfortunately, to that person. Like it's better to just take the gift and not, turn around and say, oh man, because that person put time and effort and thought into you on that side for the most part. So I think for me, the receiving the compliments or, receiving a gift and not having to keep that mental scoreboard and realizing those types of people were just looking out for you and wanted to do something nice for you. I've tweaked that a little bit. I think it's nice to know that if you're surrounding yourself by the right people and putting yourself in the right environments and also just honing in on your true self, your most authentic self as much as possible, then the universe is naturally going to gift you anyway. And when it comes, it should feel a lot more natural as opposed to feeling unworthy.
Well, the natural it doesn't, it sounds so lame. It doesn't boast,
Yeah.
like it's not it's such a, generic thing to respond with, but
Yeah.
it's all about that give and take.
Mhm.
There's a happy balance between the two situations.
Yeah.
Where like if we're starting off with, compliment or praise, like I don't feel like I've ever had an issue with taking a compliment. And I feel like praise is one of those things where like, I feel like it's kind of fueled me to want to continue to do more. But then I think about the fact of like, so many times you might be, oh, wow, everyone keeps saying like, you're doing such a great job. And then you don't get that and you feel like you're doing more work than what you were actually doing. And you're like, now no one's recognizing this.
Yeah.
Now, hold up. Whoa. What am I doing? I'm going down a whole different path of not even sitting here thinking about the good stuff. Now shit, I've absolutely screwed up at this point. And then I think about the compliment, even just recently, you hit me twice with like, hey man, you're starting to look slim. And I'm like, no, I'm not, man. The scale still says 220. And you're sitting there going, what an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, why
All right,
aren't
cool,
you
dude.
able to
Fucking
just like,
fat ass over here? Cool.
why
Yeah,
aren't you
get
able to just say
that.
thanks? Appreciate it, man. You don't have to sit here and go, oh, well, the scale still says this.
Yeah.
Kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
You're like, thanks. I'm going to take my compliment back, actually. I'll save that for another time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like it does, like when you accept that, it does build healthier bonds. It does, with the right people, there is reciprocation that will always come. If I help Brandon move, next time that I move, Brandon's going to help me move. That's a natural course of action. That reciprocation should just bode well that to yourself, that you're like, okay, I'm in the right place. I'm with the right people, the right atmosphere I should be in as a person that is going to help me go where I want to go, approach the goals that I want to in the right manner. And if that's the case, then you're all good. Like, you should be easily, when those opportunities where someone wants to help, and it feels like it's more of a help than it is being saved. I've struggled with that a lot too, where it's like, okay, someone's looking to help me because they know I need assistance, not because they gotta be there for Derek again. Oh God, and so no one else is going to do it if I don't do it. And there's a tough correlation there for sure. I'd worked a job previously where I wasn't making any money at all. It felt like even taxed after I was a 1099 contractor, was making like $15 an hour, and that is not enough money when you have to pay taxes at the end of the year. That is equates to probably $10 an hour out of college with a degree. It's like, what the hell am I doing with my life? So the guy who ran the company, like, once or twice cut me checks on the side because he knew he wasn't paying me enough and could tell, like, okay, and I was supposed to make commission or whatnot, but things just weren't coming in the way they were supposed to. And that felt like, man, it's coming from this power construct of, you're taking pity on me. Like, why don't you just actually fix the situation itself and pay me more if you feel like I deserve more? Like, help me as opposed to trying to save me. Helping means paying me more, what I'm worth, or just, if you don't find value in me being here, then don't have me here at all. I'll go find a new job. I was struggling with that myself too, where it's like, maybe this is just where I am right now. And when I got those checks, it was like, okay, this is nice, this will help, but why can't you just raise my pay to begin with? Or why can't we actually break down the real situation here?
Oh, dude. Wow. I have definitely battled with that of thinking that you're being saved.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh my goodness, man. I love that you brought that up, because that was something that I didn't even think about, is when it comes down to help and receiving help, how many times do you feel like, well, this person thinks that I'm not capable of being able to take care of myself?
Yeah.
And then you're sitting here going, you hold up, chill out. Like, take a step back, bud. All they're doing is providing assistance for you to not have to stress as much.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is
that so crazy?
There's a perception change or shift you can implement that I think would help. There is like, is that person just looking out what's best for me and they're assisting me along the way, or are they saying, if I don't stick my ass in this right now, then that person's not going to be able to help themselves? That could be like even just a manager at work. Like, are you trusting me to get everything done and you're just assisting in the way a good manager should? Or are you making sure that you're like helicopter parenting me and, seeing every little thing I do because you believe you are more inclined to do that job in a certain manner than I am? And now I'm like, dude, if you don't trust me to do it, then why am I here?
Yeah, the micromanaging is horrible sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is not a feeling that is enjoyable to experience at all. And that just, all the emotions that come out of receiving that kind of situation. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, because then you start questioning yourself, and like, again, that unworthiness feeling. That's what sucks, and I think that's been my biggest struggle as far as receiving gifts, is feeling like I was unworthy of the situation. I think when you can shift it to like the right things, I think the gifts like are such this like microcosm of what we all talk about trying to do, which is like living a life of love and happiness, or whatever our goals are in life. And I think the second you can try to shift your personal life and your views into that lens, as opposed to a darker lens, then you have that opportunity to okay, these gifts are coming to me, like the right assistance coming to me, I'm doing all the right things.
It's you finally just giving to yourself, arguably, and you don't realize it. You're sitting here going, oh, all these people are doing all these things for me, I'm so incapable, rather than, what? Hold up, maybe I do things that bring this stuff towards me. And gift giving or gift receiving, like I think about Eric. I needed some new sunglasses for biking. And Eric was like, I got an extra pair in the car. I'll just give them to you. I was like, no, man, I don't want to take your backup pair of glasses. You never know. Glasses get scratched. They break. Nah, I don't want to take your back. I'm never going to wear them, man. Nah, I appreciate it. Dude, just take the fucking glasses. Why didn't you take the glasses? Because then you bought glasses. You didn't even like the glasses that you bought. And then you sat there and were thinking to yourself, I wonder if I would have liked the glasses that I could have got for free.
Yeah.
So from the grandmaster gift giver himself, what do you struggle with when
That's
it comes
actually my
down
mother.
to receiving?
I'm the son of the grandmaster. No, I'm kidding. My mom is the queen of gift giving. Like, it's absurd. But for similar reasons, I feel there's like this quid pro quo, which I feel like obligated to mention. I learned that from Austin Powers and Goldmember. I didn't read that. But there's this quid pro quo. What are you going to do for me? What am I going to do for you? And it makes it really hard. And I am probably one of, in my circles, I'll say, I'm one of the worst people to receive a compliment. I'm like, nah. Like somebody is like, if I suddenly dropped like 15 pounds and then I'm more like toned, so I'm like, oh man, you look fantastic. I'm like, nah, I'm not even on my way. Like I relate to that so much. And for anything compliment wise, I feel like not only are you like still headed towards your goal where you're trying to get there and you might only be halfway there, but also there is that concept of like, I don't know, are you blowing smoke up my ass because you want smoke up yours? I don't know. Like, I don't know what your cup of tea is, but I feel like a lot of times it's hard for me to take a compliment. But also, like, gifts are hard for me too because I'll probably talk about it later. I account for the time, energy, sacrifice, cost, all that stuff. It's built into the gift to me. So if somebody gives me a pencil, no harm done. That pencil is probably free or 5 cents or something. I don't give a shit. But if somebody gives me like, there's a Seinfeld episode. I don't know if you guys have seen it. He has this anti-gravity pen. And then he's like, here, take the pen. And then there's a whole big deal over. He's like, I didn't even want the pen. I told him I didn't want it. And then he's going around talking to the whole neighborhood. Yeah, he took his pen. It's like, I didn't want the pen. But so like, there's like this whole sacrifice, cost, time, energy, all these things bound to this. And then when I'm receiving a gift, I will assess that. Like if it's from my godfather and it's Christmas time, that's a tradition. We usually give each other gifts. But if my godfather, I still see him all the time at work and whatnot. But if he just like is going to give me something like an energy drink, I'm like, no, that's yours. You're going to need it. So I don't want to take that from you. I will go find my own resources, even though he's okay. He's not going to struggle to buy another energy drink or he might have multiples. But I'm like, no, I don't want to take away from you because that's your well-being. Mm-hmm. Granted, it's caffeine and sugar, so well-being is subjective. But either way, I'm taking away like stuff off of him, so I feel like I'm like, no, I would rather try to be self-sufficient. But if he's going to give me a water, and I know he got 4, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take a water. Fuck yeah. So I find it hard, but there is something I also do want to mention that, oh man, you guys unlocked some shit out of me I forgot was there. About the difference between assisting and helping and saving. It just took me back to working like the sales job I was in. I won't mention what kind of sales, but you guys know I didn't really believe in the mission that we were selling. And, they kind of like the people I was around, they'd set you up partially, but like they didn't really fill in and help you learn how to help yourselves. But then if it was time to save you, let me just give you like 15 or 5 seconds and then here, now back on your own. And I'm like, you didn't do shit. Like you said, hey, here's how to sell your soul better. Here's what you got to do. And I'm like, but I don't want to do that. Can you help me like learn the path and learn the territory and terrain so I don't have to sell my soul? And they're like, we don't have time for that. Like, they didn't say it like that, but that's kind of how it was. And it was a wonder why, in 2 months, like, it was like 6 to 8 members on my team had left. And I'm like, it's because of the management. Like, you guys want to, like, give this gift of time and energy, but you don't really. You're really hoping that somebody else figures it out themselves. And then when you need to come in and save them, then, oh, shit, they need my saving. And then it's like, oh, let me just pat myself on the back for saving you. It's like, why don't you just, like, not throw me into the lion's den, and then we could start there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's a crazy situation because I feel in that environment, the person who's that manager, they'll give you those little tidbits to try to get you back on to the right track. But when Timmy leaves at the end of next week, I tried to help him, but he's gone.
Yep.
He just wouldn't listen to me. So they look okay to the overall, picture. But it's really that they don't want to help you because they don't want you to not succeed underneath of them. And they haven't taken the time to actually learn how to truly save you. So they don't want to give you information that doesn't work, right?
Yeah, they go,
at least from my personal experience.
They'd go, there's no saving Timmy. Like, well, you don't have to save Timmy. Did you try to help him? Did you just try to help him?
That's a great idea. Shit.
He wasn't in a well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he wasn't well off. His well-being was going to shit.
Yeah.
He gained 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, fuck, man, can you just show me what to do? It's like, well, when I left that company, I don't know if I've ever quit anywhere same day. But after I kept seeing everyone drop like flies, everyone else is quitting the same day, and other people are getting fired, and, the pressure is on. I need to get my next sale, but I still don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about with medical stuff because I haven't went to school for that shit. But I got to pretend I do. To everybody I talk to, I got to pretend I'm an expert in their jobs, even though I'm clearly not. And a lot of the times they can see through that bullshit. But when I quit, I think it was a wake-up call for my entire department because everybody was like, no. And I'm like, yes.
You gave yourself the ultimate gift that day.
Yeah, I gave myself the gift of freedom, and I took a job that I could be expendable at, but I could go do my shit, keep my head down, and then, like, keep the hobbies and stuff that I really loved, and then get myself set to get to the next job. And I'm like, I'm one of the loyal soldiers until you piss me off enough. And then I'm like, my loyalty's gone. So that is probably my biggest gift. My loyalty. My loyalty is probably my biggest gift. But if you throw rocks at me enough, then I'm be like, fuck off. I'm driving the other direction.
Yeah.
I the gift receiving to me, I tried to steer clear of doing, all the different things to build your credit that I wanted nothing to do with a credit card and different things like that. And then you come out of school and you start learning how to repay your student loans. You now buy a car because you're like, I want the new car. I can afford the new car. Now you're paying for a car loan. Maybe you take out a little personal loan for something that you want to buy. Any of these examples that open your eyes to what credit and debt is and your personal image of gift giving and gift receiving has completely changed because now you're thinking about the interest rate.
Oh, yeah.
That was something that, like,
Damn.
I completely changed after, 18 to 22 of the way I looked at gifts and receiving things from other people. Back when I was, 17, 16, I was still getting a gift from, your grandma or something on your birthday. You're like, woohoo! Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate this. So excited. Feeling like there's no remorse. I got nothing to give back. And then you learn about credit and debt, and it just, oh shit, I really have to stop at my grandma's house a couple times over the next month.
Yeah, as long as that gift is still on her credit card statement, you're still expected to be paying that off. As long as interest is occurring. Zach's cutting the grass.
She got credit and so do we.
Yeah, shit.
So
Yeah, what's your credit score with your grandma, bro?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I made her some brand new benches for her bonsais. So
Beauty.
money.
That is
I
a
love that.
banger of a line. What's your credit score with your grandma? When's the last time you stopped over? When's the last time you came over for my house for some tea?
Oh Lord.
So what now being in your 30s, gentlemen, what does a meaningful gift look like to you, and how has that definition changed over time? And, you know, I already dropped how mine changed over time. Now I'm starting to think about, you know, my credit scores with the people in my life, which
Yeah.
that one's hilarious. The credit score with your grandma is classic. And
Write that one down.
thinking about all these different things of trying to actually put emotion not fully on the front burner, on high, but keeping it on a nice simmer on the front burner, making some rice with my emotions rather
Not
than,
in a hurry. Yeah.
we're not boiling, potatoes for mashed potatoes. But thinking about a meaningful gift is anything that would, one, meaningful gifts would be time, patience, and understanding with somebody.
Okay.
That receiving that from somebody when there might be something that they know, like for instance, talking to someone about cars and you don't really know too much about cars, and them taking that extra little bit of time and to slow it down and be like, do you understand what we're saying?
No.
No, you don't.
Just been nodding a lot.
Yeah.
You keep going, and all I'm hearing is
Got that, like, your eyes are crossing, glazing over.
Yawn a
You
few
are
times.
lost.
Yeah.
So what does a meaningful gift look like to you now?
So the funny part about my answer is a meaningful gift for me right now. If you took 7-year-old Brandon and you gave him all of the exact same socks, I always wear, like, my mom and dad can give me this. Be like, nah, but if you take me at age 32, you go over to, we'll just say, I don't know, Kohl's, Target, Walmart, and you go get a bunch of low-cut black socks, and you get like 30 of them. You say, Brandon, get all your socks together, throw them away. Here's 30 matching socks. I'm like, fuck yes. Fucking love that. Somebody came out, they're like, give you like a bunch of new socks, and you just get to throw away all of them and forget about matching. And then you just wake up the next morning and you just open them up, grab 2 socks. You don't even got to pay attention to them. Love that shit.
Yeah.
I've never had it done, but I've done it for myself. That is the best gift I've given to myself, is just, I don't know, if you guys listening can afford it, do that shit. Like, don't obviously donate your socks to somebody who could use it, but like, oh, it's such a good feeling. But there's other parts of my identity that really can be reflected in tokens, clothes, experiences. Like we said earlier, just like, well, hit me up out of the blue. Hey, I got some Lincoln Park tickets. You want to get some uveitis? For anyone who doesn't know about that, I went too hard and got my uvula swollen for Lincoln Park.
Mike Tyson punching on it.
Yeah, too much singing, too much snoring, too much alcohol. But what? But yeah, so I think things like that, experiences, clothes, tokens are great for me. And I wore this shirt on purpose. This is from my father-in-law. It's from Spain. We were laughing a little bit about it earlier because I can wear size large, but I often wear XL. This is a 3X. I have no idea how small Spanish people are, but like, either I got a lot fatter in like a half hour, or I don't know. But this is 3X.
The funny thing about that shirt is that a bull would run through you if you wore it.
That is fucking hilarious. Yeah, it would destroy me. But the other thing I have on right now is for the cameras, I have this watch on. This watch, I got it for working for Rite Aid. R.I.P. Rite Aid. But I'm not genuflecting for that. I'll genuflect. My manager deserves that one. My old store manager, Mark, he's passed away. He got me this. He gave me a catalog for working for 5 years. So for 5 years, you can get a gift. So
You just get the catalog.
yeah.
Here's all the things you could get if I liked you more.
He said, yeah, if you're going to stay here one more month, you could have got one of these gifts. But after 4 years and 11 months working at Rite Aid, he said, here, you worked for like 11 months. You're 1 month away before you quit. So pick out a gift. And then I got this watch. And now this is my favorite watch. Mark has since passed away. So I really enjoy this watch. And it's my favorite watch. So it's very simple. You could probably buy it for under like $15 or under $20 with inflation nowadays. But you'd probably buy it for under $20. And it's really not like that special of a watch to anyone else but me. And to be honest, the only thing left is the face of the watch. Like the wristband I've changed out. But like to me, that was a huge part of my identity. From age 18 to 23, I was working there, and that's a big chunk of my life. And I learned a lot of valuable skills. Wanted to punch some people sometimes, all kinds of grief and hard work. But like all of that contributed to who I was and am. So in wearing the watch, I'm like, oh, I like it because I like the style, but also, that was a big chunk of my life, and now I get to have it in a memory.
Yeah.
If I lost this watch, I'd probably be, a little heartbroken, but yeah, I like tokens and things that are meaningful, but I don't impose tokens on other people. Like, I try not to get somebody, say that I went to Philadelphia tomorrow. I did get at one point a guy who loves film. I've told you guys about his podcast, a Film By podcast for you guys. But Jeff, my old manager, I got him a little Rocky token because it's his favorite movie. I would not give that to you guys. You guys are like, I'm probably going to throw that away after a few years. I don't know. But for him, it's his favorite movie. So I got him that because I'm like, this cost me $5 and he's going to love it. And he's probably going to put it up on his dresser or something. Mm-hmm. So I won't impose tokens on other people, but I have a huge value in like little tokens that bring me joy and have a connection to my identity.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you nailed it with like saying something was irreplaceable. Like that watch might not mean anything to anyone but you, but because of the story behind it, I think there's some correlation to why that's so important to you. And I felt the same way. I think growing up, like I think my mom got me a hat. This was even like probably 5 years ago. I think Kodak chewed up a hat my mom got me or something. And I was not bummed out because I could go buy the hat, but I couldn't buy the hat that my mom gave me. So, like, I could replace the hat, go back down the store, buy the same hat, but it's still not the same one my mom picked out for me. And there's meaning behind that where I think as a kid, it was always the white whale gifts of, oh, this is on the top of my list, like the Red Ryder BB gun, whatever it is. And I think what was cool back then was it was still meaningful because it showed that your parents listened to you and took time to go get you what you wanted. So there was nothing more important in the world than that gift to you at that point. It was your priority, and they were able to really capitalize on something that they knew would mean a lot to you. So I thought that was cool, and I think that carries over more to now where it's not like I need an Xbox to be happy. If someone, I might help a little bit, to be honest. My Xbox is going to stop working soon, I think. So, but what it does do is like show that it's maybe not the material things, it's more the emotion that things carry. Like my girlfriend got me a new soccer jersey, and every time I wear it, I think about her. I'm like, cool, she nailed it. She only got me one gift for that birthday other than like the trip we won, which is nice. She didn't have to get me a lot, but that one gift she got, she nailed because it was my favorite player. I love the jersey, and now every time I wear it, I think, oh, cool, I remember when Doa got me this. There's like something to be said about, I think, just nailing something that is going to be tied to emotion that you can even just make. You don't even have to buy anything. Quick story about our first year of dating anniversary. Doe and I went to West Virginia and stayed in a cabin, and it's like our first night there. And I got her a couple things. I think I made something cute, or no, I hadn't. I had to. Actually, after she gave me what she gave me, go like, oh shit, dude, I missed the boat on this. I really have to go craft something up, because what she did was she made like this really cool scrapbook of the whole first year of us dating, and she printed off like different songs on Spotify, screenshots that meant something to her from us dating, and like she wrote little handwritten notes about like why she picked this, or like pictures of us like at a bar or something like that. And I mean, it's like first year anniversary. Dang, like she's wearing like a really like nice outfit. We're like hanging out alone. I'm like, all right, man, this is gonna be a great anniversary evening. She gives me that, and I started fucking crying like a little bitch, dude. I immediately was like, oh, I'm fine. Go over here. And goddamn, did that take away from the evening a little bit, because I'm just sitting there like trying to collect myself, because like no one has ever zeroed in on something like that for me. Well, people have given me gifts that have like obviously meant something to me that were physical. I'm just not. It's funny. I come from, no offense to my family, they'd say the same. Probably a family of people who love keeping things as like in material things and not getting rid of them, and I'm just not that type of person. So when it comes down to something that someone spent time and energy on that meant a lot to them as much as it did to me, like those are the type of things that really connect. And I think that's something that stands out to me for sure.
That can put a lot of weight on those pieces of items though that you get to, like keeping that watch up and running and going, or what do you got to put that thing into a box or something to be able to preserve that, because the paper's gonna fray, the paper's gonna dull over time. It's hard to find that happy balance on things like that, because you want to save it, and you can have your little box like I have downstairs of memories, and that has the hat with the AJ drawing in it and like different things from my years of experiences. But if I were to lose that box, am I losing a part of myself? And that's where we've talked before of having that happy balance with everything. And I talked about it on the dogs episode, where I have all those things of Bosco behind me in my car. And if I were to lose those, I wouldn't lose Bosco. I wouldn't lose those experiences. But it really does put a lot of weight on making sure those things are preserved for a long time.
100%. Yeah, I think that was cool too. It's just like those types of gifts that resonate more with me. When you're a kid, it was more of the instant dopamine, like, oh my God, I got the Xbox. Wow. And then candidly, every time I played the Xbox, I didn't think, oh, remember when my dad like sacrificed like all those extra hours to afford this? It was just, I got the fucking Xbox, and then I just played the shit out of it, and I'm sure that made him happy, and there was resonance there. But what's nice about receiving gifts now is like, I was maybe not the scrapbook I cried like a little bitch over, but maybe like the jersey of me thinking it's not so much that it's just a jersey, but it's those echoes of remembering, like, every time I wear it, I can think of like, oh man, like she always has my back, or she's always thinking about me.
Yeah, that is cool. It gives you those, it pulls you back into those emotional experiences.
Absolutely.
I would say that outside of, time, patience, and understanding, my other thing when it comes down to receiving a meaningful gift is something that will ultimately, someone knows something about me and they just decide to skirt around you before you can buy something that you wanted for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, my mom and Anastasia both buying me a blender for Christmas the one year, and having two blenders, and I make a lot of smoothies, so like having two blenders is not that ridiculous.
They're like, shit, we got the same good. You're like, no, you don't understand what you just did for me right now. You mean I can make double the smoothie?
I can make two smoothies at one time. But I think about that, gifts that are definitely things that people know about you, and it shows that they know things about you, and that they're thinking of you from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the one thing I didn't mention that goes back towards time is I'm definitely straying away more from giving physical things and trying to give more experiences or more time with somebody. So if that means, okay, I'm not going to give my dad something for his birthday, but I am going to ask him what baseball game works the best for him around his birthday, and then take him, my sister and stepmom and brother or whatever to a game. That's cool for me, because now we're prioritizing time that we wouldn't otherwise prioritize in a world where we don't get enough time together already. Giving my dad a new hat, while he may enjoy it, isn't going to really stoke him as much as it would be to spend 3 hours with me he wouldn't have already had.
Make the Facebook post.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm just joking, but yeah.
Happy birthday, Pops. Okay, bye.
No, but I'm saying, like, having those experiences, like, That's what people like to show. What'd you do this weekend? Oh, I did this. You know, my son took us all out to the baseball game.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing than, you know, the hat that you were.
It's a very good point. Yeah, my dad's never posting about the hat on Facebook. I hear what you're saying now. He's like, oh, I'm so proud of my son. This is the penguin hat he gave me. It's the 16th penguin hat he's given me. Thank you, son. Yeah, but there always is a picture like, oh, out at the baseball game with the family. And like there's something that is more special about that than as you get older than gifts can offer.
Yeah, yeah.
There any times when you guys like gave gifts or something else that kind of took a little too much out of you?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, yes. And it just goes back, not to stem into like certain examples, but I think it just goes back to respecting yourself enough to know if that person's worthy of giving a gift to in the first place. And if the energy matches the relationship that you're in, then that person's typically going to appreciate it enough. When it comes into overextending and then realizing that you're not getting what you deserve back is where there becomes an issue. I've definitely been guilty of that in the past for sure. And it burns you the hell out. Then there's resentment and it's like, what am I doing here? What exactly is the point of me putting all this time and effort into something or showing up for someone who doesn't show up for me in the same manner? That can be tough for sure.
This is where the boundaries come into play. This is when you were saying, oh, we'll talk about it later, and I'm not telling you to set boundaries with your 10-year-old niece, which was funny. But this is definitely the situation where you finally take that stock, for me at least, of I gave all these things, and I will say over the years, patience has been probably the thing that I've given out way more than anything else. And feel like there's a lot of times whenever I don't see people do that, not so much back to me, but like in a job setting, you're giving all this patience to these people who are obviously, they don't give a flying rat's ass. But then you got the guy who's actually the manager of those people, and he's just not given any patience. And you're like, why am I trying to literally sit here and show you like, this is what these people need. They need patience. How'd you get those guys to work so hard the other day? Oh, well, you know, it's just this funny word called patience, but
yeah.
Patience and a little bit of care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when in sales too, when you call business, there's always the gatekeeper, just like Karen who answers the phone. And it's like, oh, hey, Karen, is Jim available today? And she goes, no, he's not. And you would take a message. I go, no, bye, and click, hang up. So, Karen's like, well, this ain't worth Jim's time. So as far as setting boundaries, like I wrote down, you should be your own gatekeeper. Like, oh, no, Derek's not available at this time. Sorry. And be okay with that. Like, that should be the answer if you feel like you're putting yourself in situations that are not worthy of your time.
I like that.
There's a guy, on that note, I think his name is, you might know who this guy is because we listen to a lot of like similar YouTube. Is his name like Alexander Hermone? Or he's the guy.
You talking Alex Hormozy?
Hermozy. Yeah, he talks about, he said one of the most baller things, and he didn't think it was baller when he first did it, but his friend and him were walking by. And this guy's like, hey, man, Alex, you want to jump on a podcast real quick? Nice to meet you, man, blah, blah, blah. Just take like 20, 30 minutes of your time. And then he pulls out his calendar and he's like, see this right here? This calendar, the schedule, completely open. I prefer to keep it that way. Oh, my damn, man. That is expert level boundary, like masterclass. And I was like, damn, you guys know me. It's no secret. I have a horrible time with stuff like that. And one of the things is like work. Work just, sacrifice myself. And, it's like, for what? It's like, is your like owner or boss really going to like give too much of a shits if you're like, oh, but this system is failing and it's not my fault, but I really want to go and save it. It was like, why? Why would you save it? If you save it now, what lesson are people going to learn about what responsibilities they have? They're not. It's just going to prolong it. And next time they'll either learn the lesson or you're going to spread yourself out again. And I tend to do that a lot. And it's crazy. And my answer is, how did you learn how to set new boundaries and generosity? I haven't. I'm the sad sucker who just keeps learning the same lesson and observing it, becoming aware, and then not doing a damn thing to improve it. Or I do some to improve it, but not a lot. One of the things is to actually, for me, schedule. Like, schedule, have it written down. If you don't have it written down on a schedule, it doesn't exist. Like, you say it does, but if you never really like, or if you're like that super person who can put something in place on a schedule and have a mental schedule, more props to you. For me, it's you got to write down and then say to the person, be like, I would love to do that, but I do have something on my schedule, and use those exact words. And I find myself like, I don't know, this past week has been a good example of somebody brings something up. It's so important in my life. And then even though I wanted to schedule nothing. I wanted to do that. I'll say Alexander. I can't remember the perfect last name, but I want to do that so bad. But then my love and care for the people around me, I'm just like, nope, I'm going to bypass and then set that on the back burner. Yeah. Just that, like, if I wanted to have like 2 hours of time of free time to just sit, be in my feels, I don't know, go through my notes, delete some old pictures that I will probably still have 10 years from now, then I probably should do that. But like this past visited my cousin, and he is in a dark place, and, you know, gave that time to him. Next day comes up, I'm like looking forward to the time. And then my niece, she has a birthday that I'm impromptu finding out about the same day, which is like 4 minutes away from my house. And I'm like, oh, all right, I better go to that. Mm-hmm. Had a great time. But like, it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still not addressing those little like peaceful moments. I'm like, really? Your peace of mind isn't that valuable? You'd rather, and I'm like, at this time in my life, no. I'm like, soccer. Yeah, so I'm not good at it. That's my answer, is I haven't learned, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I wrote down a little bit while I was journaling on some things too about you deserve only as much as you're willing to give until you're out of things to give. So like, I do think there's something we said, and I'm not curious on your thoughts there too. I think in life, like the universe only owes me what I'm willing to give. So if I have everything in the world and I'm willing to give it all away, then that's what I deserve in return. Or if I had everything, like I feel like my mom had everything in the world, she'd have no issue giving it all away. But if you were to receive everything and you go, I think I'm just going to keep this all for myself, then there may be one of those inventory checks we can take on that side too. It's just one of those situations where you run into people who are always taking and rarely giving back, and that becomes an energy suck on that side too. And it does become draining. It becomes the situation where you feel like, I don't have to give out of the ability to feel like I'm worthy to that person. You're already worthy. That it should come from that place of worthiness, as opposed to wanting to feel worthy. I'm worthy, I'm able to give, as opposed to I want them to know that I'm worthy of their love, time, compassion, whatever it might be. And I think the key balance there is, again, it's funny we're talking about gifts, but then it just boils down to self-respect and barriers and all these things we always talk about. But if you're always giving and never receiving, there's probably something wrong, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's not balanced.
No.
That's you pouring everything out, which that's us talking about having the glass completely overfilling. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of hard for someone who I feel like is in situations where they're not getting anything from their environment, but it's I love these people. Mm-hmm. This is my family. I'm not going to not keep doing this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's a hard freaking balance to sit there and go, well, how do I tip the scales back into my favor at all?
Probably has to do with something of recognizing when you're overextending. Is it afterwards? Is it you just get caught up in the moment and go, I feel obligated to do this, I'm going to go do it, and you don't even think about it? Or is it while you're doing it, all that's in the back of your head is, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I had other plans for myself. And I think that as you can tip the scale back towards recognizing overextension as quickly as possible, probably as soon as someone asks you to do something that you weren't willing to do or not planning on doing, then you can start to build those barriers up, as opposed to getting caught in the heat of the moment, having that like bodily jerk of like, oh shit, okay, gotta go do this. And then after the fact, you look back and go, okay, now what did I sacrifice? I didn't clean. I didn't do the things I said I was going to do. I didn't work out. Now I'm still where I am. They're happy because of it, but now I'm still in my pile of shit over here.
That takes us back to the awareness episode where you were talking about, am I giving these things to other people without feeling all of this like in the moment type of stuff of, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. You talked about going down to banjo night with Rye, and if I didn't do all the things back in my house, but I decided to go to banjo night, I'm probably not showing up to banjo night with full dairy.
No.
And what am I giving to those people at that point in time anyways?
Yeah, you're better off not going than you are. And it might not seem like that, but you have to be like, it turns into respect for that other person too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that makes it tough too, because they might not recognize and they might think they did something wrong. But in all reality, I show up, you're probably going to still think I did something wrong anyway by the way I'm acting, because I'm overextending myself in a situation in which I shouldn't have.
I've definitely been to banjo night with you when I have responsibilities to take care of.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that turns into giving from love versus like obligation. If you're giving from love, it's rewarding. It always feels like that. If you're not, then I do think it needs questioning. I mean, the fact that we're only human, like we only deserve as much as we're willing to give. So if you can recognize that as much as possible and say, okay, cool. Like I know that the things that I'm giving out in the universe are going to come back to me, then we're in a great place. And I believe we'll talk about that in a minute, but that cycle that we find in our life of if you're in tune with yourself as much as possible, then you don't have to worry so much about giving. You just have to know that those barriers that we just talked about are important, because what it boils down to is putting yourselves in the right situations, the right jobs, around the right people that offer you that understanding as opposed to demanding more.
So how do you stay open to receiving gifts, not just physical ones, but also love, praise, or abundance without guilt or discomfort?
Yeah, I guess so. When it comes down to, and we just talked about this, the right things are going to come naturally when you're being yourself. So I do fall into this, we just mentioned earlier, like the self-sabotage of if you feel like you don't deserve it, then you're unconsciously blocking things that come your way. Like the you shouldn't have, or you don't have to do this. We mentioned it earlier, but I did think about that. Dude, I'm not a big fan of the people that go like, oh, you shouldn't have, or you give a compliment and you go, oh, no, not me. And then you say it again and they actually just want to hear you say it again. You ever run into one of those people that you give a compliment and you know you're nailing the compliment and you know they're enjoying it. They go, oh, no, not me. Ha, 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 ha. And then you're like, yeah, you. And you're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. I'm going to see how many times you can say this. And that becomes tough because you're trying to discern whether or not that person actually is being bashful or they just want you to continue to compliment them. So I think out of when it comes down to guilt or discomfort or whatnot, another thing I thought of too is the difference between earning and allowing. I think a lot of the time where my girlfriend we'll go and it's like, oh, we just had a cheat day the other day and now we're craving something. And I go, oh, I didn't even run this week. I didn't even earn it. What do I do? What did I do to deserve this? And that can be healthy, but on sometimes you should probably just allow something good to happen to you because it's just happening to you. And I think removing that, guilt behind of, oh, I only get good things when I earn them is tough, but that can allow you to open yourself up to everything coming your way that you deserve, as opposed to just deciding what you're worthy of through gifts coming your way.
Shit.
Right?
Yeah.
So
holy cow, dude.
Yeah. So I think for that becomes a big focal point for me in understanding that as long as I am doing the things that I know serve me the best and I'm continuing down the path that is best for me in my life, then I don't need to be earning things. I don't need a list of all the things I did to get the things that are coming back to me. I should just understand that is the law of the universe, that you get what you give and get the fuck out of the way.
That makes me think about playing the lottery and I didn't do anything to earn this money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I do to earn this money?
The part of me was like, what did I even do? I picked 5 numbers. Here we are. I worked 20 years and all I had to do was pick 5 numbers.
Honestly, there is a lot of people say you do have to there is a guilt, an abundance guilt with the lottery. And there is people who can consult and counsel with to basically be like, what do I do with this power and ability now that I have it? So that's a real thing. People get guilty over it. And there's also the other side where people blow all that shit with no kind of regard. And then they're broke as shit in 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something to say about living authentically too. You know, if you're living your true authentic self, then people and you portray that to other people, then when you receive a gift from them, it should correlate pretty well with who you actually are, as opposed to, you know, I was writing this down. I thought, I feel like you could just give me a saw. I'm not a lumberjack. What the hell do you even know about me? Like, you just gave me this horrible gift that doesn't correlate at all. But like, what are you portraying to those types of people on a daily basis that allow you like the authenticity to receive a gift that actually means something to you or has to do with you as a person, as opposed to you putting up natural barriers that maybe not allow people to even get to know you in the first place?
I thought this question was interesting in the first place because I feel like a delusional mindset has to play in here a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit. Because we're asking you to think of what makes you feel good inside, which is receiving something. And then we're saying, well, why did you feel icky about that?
Yeah.
Why did you feel icky about receiving something that should make you feel good inside?
Right.
Receiving a gift should bring you joy and excitement, but, oh, I'm feeling discomfort and not good.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it goes back to me thinking about the guilt that stems from how you will repay this generosity. It just, I go back to this, like the tax of the gift that you're receiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what is this interest that I'm about to pay?
Yeah. Emotionally, physically, just in the need to repay them with literally anything you can think of. And that can be tough too, because that, again, something that should have been nice can turn into something that is not great for you if you just can't flip that perception correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Have you battled the discomfort?
I definitely feel like there's been times where you feel like there should be a mutual exchange, and if it's disproportionate, that it does cause a little bit of interference. It could be disproportionate that, like, I was joking about the pencil earlier. But my brother Nick totally gave my brother Anthony a pencil for Christmas. He's like, what the fuck? It's still hilarious. I might bring it up again soon just because I'm a little brother and I like to, poke both of them. But yeah, I feel like there's a disproportionate, like, if my parents, just knowing what I know, if my parents, when I turned 16 or 18, if they just like gave me a car, I'd be like, oh, no, I don't deserve this. Like, granted, I've done, we've done like, I don't know, my grandparents' grass for X amount of years. We go shovel, we go help every time we're asked, like all that stuff. Like, as far as being worthy, I'm worthy of it. But do I deserve it? No, because I know how much, like I mentioned about the time and sacrifice and the cost that it doesn't just cost the money. It costs all of the actions that led up to that. So I'd be like, I would be worth a car, but I wouldn't deserve it. So my part where I kind of reconciled was, whenever you receive this gift, are you able to honor the person receiving it? And for me, if my parents, let's just say that they gave me a car at 18, I wouldn't be able to honor them with that. I'd be fucking off and just going to do all kinds of shit. Granted, I would be going to work like at 18. Once I graduated, I had a 40-hour-a-week job. So, like, yeah, I could honor them in going to work with it, but I'd be using that car, that's a tiny fraction of my time. The rest of the time, I'd be fucking off. So, like, can you honor that person, receive it with humility, gratitude, and are you going to, like, do something important with it? Like, if it is a car, is that going to be a tool for you to live your life, or is that going to be something that it's just going to be a tool to live your vices? Like, for me, at 18, I'm definitely going to go and fuck off. But, like, if, say at this point in my life, if I'm 32 years old and, shit's just really not going my way, and we'll just imagine I'm not married, don't have a kid on the way, don't have, like, a stable place to live. If somebody were to give me a car, that for me would probably bring tears in my eyes. If I'm, down on my luck, and my parents said, I think they're 60 now. If they were 60 and they're able to give me a car and it's 32 and I really can't afford, and we're in the economy we are, then I would 100% honor them in receiving it, and I would fight them and be like, I can't take it, I can't take it, I can't take it. But I 100% would honor it at age 32, especially if things weren't going well. But I think that's, for me, the missing piece of, is it proportionate? Is it disproportionate to your relationship? Is the sacrifice and cost equal to how you're going to honor them and appreciate it? That's where I kind of fill in the gaps.
Yeah, the 18 is how fast can I make this thing go on the highway versus the 32 is
120.
how many years can 120 versus the how many years can I make this thing last so that I don't have a car payment ever again.
Yeah. So yeah, I stay open to receiving those gifts by trying to justify, am I going to honor that person?
I like your tipping the scales of worthiness to honorability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great way for our audience to just think about it. Can you honor someone's gift?
I like that a lot.
Thank you.
So, last question of the day. If your life was a regenerative loop, what would you be giving to the world, and how would you allow the universe to give back to you? So to preamp this question, this is the concept that Derry's been hitting at just about all episode of, if whatever I thought was worthy enough to be able to pass on to the rest of the world, to Mother Nature, to society, what am I going to get back in return on this perfect loop of giving and receiving?
Yeah. I think a good example is outside in your driveway. You think about it. So like your garden, you put in the time and effort to build up the stands and get the pallets and hammer them in and plant the soil and go out there every night and water everything. And then you are putting in that time because you know at the end of it, that plant is going to grow and provide for you. And then you just keep watering and it provides and it's healthy and you're happy because you're eating salsa or whatever the hell you made that night and so on and so forth. And it just, as long as I'm putting in, I'm getting out. And as long as they're putting out, they're getting in. And it just, there's this loop that I think that I'm not so much focused on, for me, what like tangible things I can offer the universe. I think it just goes back to what I've hit on too throughout the episode is the best job you can do is to be your authentic self as much as possible. That's going to attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right things from the universe. So if it's, I have this love for music and I want to go play music and I don't know if that's the right thing for me, but I know deep down inside, like, man, I didn't pay the bills or whatever, but I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to put in this effort and be the person that I want to be. It might not mean you're going to be a rock star on a stage for playing for 1 million people or whatever. It might just mean that you're going to get the cool opportunity to meet really nice people and play some music, and that's going to fuel your passion and make you feel like the person you want to be. So by putting things out, like, I think people run into this sense, because I've done it, of having expectations on what the universe is going to give back to you instead of just getting out of the way and letting it come to you, because what is meant for you will always be for you. So there's no way in trying to shift that. Like, it was already yours anyway. You just had to put in the work, not to really earn it, but just be your authentic self and allow it. So for me, I think all I can offer the universe is being as true to myself as humanly possible every day, and then understanding that as long as I do that, then I'm going to receive back what I deserve.
I think it's such an interesting concept to think about that too, because, okay, worrying about how much you're going to put out to be able to get back. I love that you brought up the fact of, well, why do I have to expect that I earned this to receive it back? So you got two guys that are, we'll use golf, professional golfers. And the one guy, as soon as his round's done, he's hitting the clubhouse, having a couple beers with the boys and chilling out. Where the other guy's hitting straight into the weight room and he's doing all the things. But then come Sunday, you know, they're both fighting for the green jacket.
Yeah.
And it's, well, I was being my most true, authentic self, getting done with my round of golf and going and hanging out with the boys. And that guy was being his most truest self, getting done and going straight back to work, of thinking he's got to earn it. There's who's tipping the scales of my worthiness versus my honorability?
Doesn't matter if you're John Daly or Tiger Woods, dude. Tiger Woods and they're doing push-ups. John Daly's drinking beers, smoking cigs, and they're both gonna be smacking the green tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's, I mean, in going back to authentic self in golf, I just mentioned this before the episode, but I had the opportunity to go and play golf yesterday, and I wasn't looking for ways to be better at golf. I was just being myself, and by doing that, like I was golfing with a buddy, but we had 2 people paired with us, and by just like shooting the shit and being myself and friendly and laughing and have a good time, the guy then felt like he was able to help me with my shot a little bit to learn how to play golf a little more in a respectful manner, as opposed to what I do, which is just destroy most of the course when I'm out there. Just a lot of hacking going on. But because I was myself at that time and open to receiving, he was able to give me knowledge that he had, and that made me a better person for it, as opposed to getting pissed off, not listening to him, and then just going back to what I was doing, thinking that I was right in that situation, that I'll figure it out on my own. And from there, I learned a couple of things that I can take from that, because I was open to it, as opposed to shutting myself off. And I think just by doing that, that was me putting in that situation of me just being open in myself as much as I possibly could.
Oh man, that is how that's literally a life lesson right there of how you unlock people to be able to, in an uncomfortable situation or a brand new situation. That was a master class on being able to be vulnerable around people, to get them to feel comfortable with you, to be able to share all of that beautiful wisdom that a 96-year-old guy who you're golfing with, who's been playing that course for 70 years, hit you with.
I know. And then there's something to say about this loop being strengthened through consistency, because now I'm like, oh, cool. I was just being myself out there, and I got something out of it just by being me. So next time I find myself in a situation that I'm like, because when we started, I went, oh, I just want to come out and have the Bluetooth on and sneak a beer with my buddy and talk about work for a couple hours, be on our way. And these 2 guys roll up. I'm like, oh, God, dude. We had 3 generations of golf out there. We had 90, 60, and 2 30-year-olds playing golf. And it was just like, oh, man, these guys are going to slow us down, blah, blah, blah. And you're already putting the blinders on, as opposed to just saying, you know what? I'm stuck with these dudes for 2 hours. Mark seems like a good guy. I'm going to shoot the shit with Mark. Mark was funny. Every time he hit a golf ball and he'd slice it, he'd go, oh, Mark. He just like talked to himself. I'm like, this guy's funny, dude. I like this. So like, instead of making a situation and that's a lot of it too, vulnerability and taking yourself and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations too. If we're going to grow, we have to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations. And I think that's how we continue to level up, is leaning into that loop and strengthening it, as I'm going to continue to put myself out there. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to understand that if this was going to serve me, then it will. And if it wasn't, then cool. That's a learning experience.
Well, wouldn't me being the most in tune, truest form of myself sit there and go, well, I wonder why the universe paired me with these people today.
Yeah.
Versus, shit, this is going to suck.
Right.
You know?
100%. Yeah. It could be for any reason that you are open to understanding. And again, with like perception, it goes into, what did you take from that? I could step away and it still had a great experience and not learned anything. But I'm thinking like, oh, one, I want to be 96 playing golf. This dude's a G. Like, this is cool. Like, I should probably take care of myself and continue to do the things I love to do. And he was just so happy to be out there. He's like, it doesn't matter if you hit him straight. We're still having a good time, aren't we? Beautiful day. I'm like, dude, this guy is a gangster for sure. But also on top of that, it's you, when you're more open and authentic to yourself, then you get this opportunity I think is really cool to choose what you're learning and mold that into something you take, because what I may have taken from that experience may be something different than you would have. But when you're leaning into yourself as truly as you can, you get this like malleable situation you can mold into something that's going to help you become a different person.
I think also feeling that way would allow you, when you're sitting in that situation, to think about all the different ways that someone could take from this and which ones resonate the most with me.
Yeah, which one would, if I was on the outside person watching the situation happen, how would I look at this and go, okay, this would be the best way to take whatever just happened to me, and kind of remove yourself from the situation, because there's always emotion tied to it or whatever. And I'm an emotional person, so I get it. But if you find this way to step back and just like you're giving someone advice, I always give advice better than I take it. And that's kind of the same situation here of, okay, if I just took a step back and had all these situations in front of me and all these learning experience in front of me, like what would the person that I'm striving to be want to learn from this?
Damn.
My two things that I would love for the universe to give me is financial freedom and time freedom. And I would honestly, the garden was the first thing that came to my mind whenever I was thinking about this, is I would do so much service to my community and my ultimate surroundings if I had that time freedom back of not doing what I normally do Monday through Friday and having, 17 more hours to myself, or I should say 10 more hours in my 17 hours, on a regular basis. I would love to have that beauty of feeling more connected to the people who I live around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I'm really missing in my life, is living around people who you feel more like. I don't need to spend time with my neighbors, but having, like, I only talk to the two people like on either side of me. Talking to more people around you, that people know when you're coming and going and when they should look after your house for, oh, well, I haven't seen their car for the last couple of days. I bet they're away. I'm going to keep an eye on that. That is something that I would love to have, is a way tighter knit community that I lived around.
Yeah, that's cool. When I lived in my previous apartment, I had a little bit of that, and it's tough in the city. It's a little bit different than I think maybe you'd imagine it to be, in the sense of like maybe more acreage or just somewhere different. But it was cool to always come back and I lived in a shitty little apartment. Some of these people own $500,000 houses, but I rode my bike over a couple weeks ago to finish up. I think I was like, now I'm like this kid over here just affecting everything I do. I was like 29 miles in. I'm like, oh, I got to get to 30. I got to get to 30. You can't just stop at 29. That's not a good round number. So I went back in my neighborhood and did a quick lap. And saw like 2 or 3 of my neighbors that like I would see on a regular basis on my block chatting on the corner. And they were all like, oh, you moved. Where'd you go? Blah, blah, blah. And like, that was cool because I knew that I could always chat with them. I had these type of people around me, and talking about what we are in this episode, that loop, it was always, I was happy to see them. They were happy to see me. We got something out of it together, as opposed to them always just being happy to see me and me going, okay, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Just in being like that, stick in the mud, as opposed to being open to what they were offering me and being willing to give it back.
Yeah.
Was one of them Bill?
No, I see Bill all the time. Bill's his own person.
He's the man.
Bill is the man. I love Bill.
I think if I was on a regenerative loop, you guys know I'm a storyteller. That's probably, and I'm a procrastinator on any writing stuff. I haven't had any like big like writing like actual discipline. But I would really love to, carry on my storytelling ability and refine, practice, become great at it, and then allow that to sustain my ability to have time with my future daughter coming into the world. We got Dismount. This will have a later release, but as of right now, I'm like 4 weeks out. I got 4 weeks of freedom until an 18 life sentence.
Yeah.
Just kidding. If you're a parent, it's much longer.
Guilty.
It's a life sentence now. No, I'm kidding. Pun intended. But I would exchange my freedom of like, it's not even like exchanging a freedom. It's like committing a discipline to gain a freedom. And not that you even have to be like completely disciplined, but like any writer out there, they'll say, it's consistency. If you show up, you write shitty writing, but that's what I wrote in my notes is I would commit to being a shitty writer for a long time to gain that time back with Hannah. So then I could live my life with my wife and daughter, so I could just have that opportunity to watch her grow through those milestones. So I could see all those things, be there, and, try to live a better life, less Taco Bell, obviously. We had to get it in once. But I would try to commit a better life of consistency, health, discipline, to try to gain that time and opportunity to be able to see her grow and really experience beauty. And I feel like that's the one thing in my future that's coming is I don't know beauty until I see my future daughter come into this world. And, you know, not related to looks, just experiencing the beauty of life, getting to see that kid grow up, getting her to hear the first words, first giggles, all of those things. I would really like to exchange my freedom of discipline for the freedom of time.
Hell yeah, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. It makes you think of, you know, moving forward to just being able to write down something very broad of what you want in your life, whether it's time or whatever, or, you know, freedom of financial freedom or whatever it might be. Or like, that's how I was at work. I went, okay, as long as I'm able to work this job and put in all the long hours and weekends and nights and whatever, as long as I'm able to do this, which is not have to worry about the money in my bank account, not have to worry about what I have to order off a menu if I go to dinner, not worry about if I can't travel, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to travel. I want my bills paid. I don't want to have to look at my bank account and worry about what's in there. I don't think I have a ton of money, but I don't want to have to worry about that. That's like the transaction I'm willing to offer. And sometimes that doesn't correlate, and that becomes frustrating as hell. So I think moving forward, having that ability of writing down, okay, what is that broad goal I'm looking for? And then breaking it down into the things that you're, okay, if I get this, I'm willing to give that, and trying to match that as much as possible, and then be also willing to step away if it's not meeting what you expect out of it is a huge thing too.
Take a pivot.
Take a pivot. Don't travel, just pivot.
Pivot. Sorry, it was there.
It was right there.
Yeah. So for me, you know, I think too, just living in that sense of love, like living in fear, giving out of fear, doing anything out of fear is not going to correlate with your life. If you live a life of love and not of fear, it's a very simple choice, then the right things are going to come to you. If you're in fear of if you're worthy enough, or is this situation right for me, or am I going to ever be the person I want to be, you're probably not going to ever get there. But if you love what you have, you love the people around you, you love who you are, most importantly, and you live that every day as much as you possibly can, then I do believe that loop will just naturally occur.
Yeah, that's on some grade school shit, you know?
Yeah.
Living more positive than negative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And being able to take the negative and turn it into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as old school as it gets in my opinion.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also something that is so quickly and easily forgotten on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's so many simple things. Just again, choosing to live out of love and then fear. It's such a simple thing. It's so simple. It's there are so many complicated things in life, and that's not one of them.
But it is pretty complicated.
Yeah, sometimes.
In a world of distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a world of distractions.
In a world of distractions, we found a way to make life even more complicated.
In a world of buying gifts instead of giving gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, in a world of buying gifts instead of giving love.
Oh, he hit it.
Nailed it.
He nailed it. All right, y'all. This was another absolute fantastic rip of the Dismount podcast. The group always says, don't trust us, trust yourself, because all of us have our own answers. We're here to ride with you, share some vulnerable stories, experiences for you to be able to unlock those for yourself and share those with other people. So this was Gifts, episode 52. We had Brandon, we had Derry, we had myself, Zach, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Thank you.
Later.
Thanks again for tuning in. Don't hesitate to catch the gang's next release, episode 53, Gratitude. How do I stay grounded in love? What a powerful phase. I am grateful. But do we actually feel it? How do we feel it? How do you recognize that you feel it? How do you have the awareness of the gratitude? Does chicken, egg, which one comes first? Gratitude, being grounded in love, awareness. Well, the gang decides to get together and they talk about this just absolutely powerful topic. Let's give you 2 sneak peeks from that episode outline of those 6 questions that the gang journals on. Question number 1. What does gratitude actually feel like in your body and spirit? And how do you know when you've fallen out of touch with it? And question number 2. What gets in the way of your gratitude the most? Comparison, busyness, pain, routine, or something else? Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one.